Hello there everybody, my name is Max and welcome back to Warthunder Basic Train. Today we're going to be going over basic fighter maneuvers in this Heinkel 112. For the record, you don't need to be flying this aircraft, this is just the one I picked. It was kind of low down on the tech tree. I'm sort of assuming that people who are here are new to Warthunder, so pick whatever plane you want to fly. In this video I'm going to be talking about realistic battles. This is not going to be applicable to Air Arcade, so if you are here for Air Arcade, you know, like, you can stay. Some of the stuff I'm going to say will cross over, but it is a very different beast realistic to Air Arcade. If you are playing Air Arcade right now, I highly recommend you get into realistic as soon as possible, because it does give you more silver lions and more research points. Now, the first thing I'm going to do when you take off from Warthunder, and it is boring, I understand, is you're going to pitch to about 15 to 20 degrees and climb. That's it. That's the whole thing. This is all we're doing. For the first, I don't know, 5 minutes of the game, we're just going to climb. The plane I'm flying right now, the Heinkel 112, this is kind of an all-rounder. So in Warthunder, there are sort of 3 different types of fighter aircraft. There are your turn fighters, which are highly maneuverable in the turn. They're always going to be able to outturn you. There's the boom and zoomers, which have really good energy retention. And then there's the energy dogfighters, which are kind of like boom and zoomers, but kind of different. For a beginner, I highly recommend you start with America or Germany or England or Japan. All of those will have turn fighters and boom and zoomers, which are the easiest to learn. This one is kind of an all-rounder. I can turn fight in it. I can do boom and zooming. I'm going to demonstrate both, but not by choice, just because that's how it goes with an all-rounder. And you'll be able to figure out when I switch from boom and zooming to turn fighting, because I'm going to tell you. So as we climb up, the other thing I want to tell you just before we get into the battle is remember that Warthunder is not whack-a-mole. We're not playing like a first-person shooter here. Think of this like chess but with dice, right? There's always move and counter-move, decision and like response. So you really need to just keep that in mind when you're flying this, but also even if you do everything right and you completely like you played a perfect game, if you don't have the dice on your side, you're still gonna die. It happens sometimes, even if you're like sure you did everything right, because sometimes like the only move you have is to take the chance. So we've climbed up. I've kind of starting to think about leveling out now at about 2,000 meters. As you get higher in the tech tree, the planes that you'll have will climb faster, and so the altitude that you'll level out at will be higher. Right now I'm at 1.3, it's pretty low down, it's rank 1. You should be able to get this plane in a matter of minutes. So I'm going to level out about 2,000, 2,500 I'm thinking. So I'm looking around, and the plane that I think is most likely to kill me is the plane I'm going to select. So you can see I can snap to that plane by pressing my middle mouse button down. Now that is a Japanese aircraft, I know that for a fact, based on the fact that, you know, it's Japanese. I'm going to pretend to go head on with him, but I'm not going to. I'm going to dive under him. And we're going to leave. So this is energy dogfighting right here. We're seeing who has the most energy, who's got the fastest engine. I know it's me. I can't outturn this guy, I'm not even going to try. We're going to take a little bit of a hit. This is where it comes down to the dice roll. And that's okay. And we are out of range now. Hello there everyone, Future Max here. And I'm just stopping in to tell you that I'm facing a bomber, a Ju-87, and I don't say it out loud, but I'm immediately switching to turn fighting. So this is an example of turn fighting versus a slower aircraft. So if you're in a turn fighter, this is going to be how you guys fight. If you guys are in a dedicated boom and zoomer, this is not going to be for you. I know he's a Ju-87, which means that his rear gunner can't shoot me when I'm below him. And when you're doing this, especially in low ranks, you know that you've only got 2 guns. So you know you need to hit engines and pilots. I think he might actually crash. pretty soon here. He can't outturn me. I have more energy than him. He's dead. So do you see that? That's a vapor trail over there. So I know that there's an enemy aircraft over there. So I can roll and I can go over. If you look, you can see I have my machine guns. I have 800 rounds left. Turn those on. You're going to make sure on the battle interface that everything is always on. It's going to help you out a bunch. That is their large airfield. So large airfields mean that they have anti-aircraft artillery there. You do not want to be on the wrong side of that one. It will obliterate you very, very quickly. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 enemy planes left that I can see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the entirety of the enemy team. Everything you see to my right there. I have 2 friendly planes left. A P-36 at range and a FW-200. Huh. That's interesting. I don't actually think that should be here. So future Max here again. I'm just letting you know that I am going to be starting booming and zooming now. So you see I've got altitude, I'm diving down on the enemy, which is the key to booming and zooming instead of trying to turn with them to stay on their tail. I did cut out the video, but I did have to circle the airfield for a solid 5 minutes. It's just what happens when people are landing and rearming. You can't go and shoot them because you will die. Pea shooter. That's what it's called. It's very, very maneuverable, but I have the altitude advantage. I have the skill advantage. And most importantly, I know what I'm doing. And he bins that already. So there's +1 to me. And we just started. Zoom straight back up to altitude and one of them's crashed. So now it's gone from a 4v1 to a 2v1. So we're winning. Now, American planes in general are very, very fast in the dive. Really, really good energy retention. But their climb rate has never been impressive. You'll find that when you're playing against or on American teams, a lot of people don't even attempt to climb in them. And that's a mistake. Now, the F3F down there is an exception to the American tech tree. That is a turn fighter. You'll see I turn fought? I don't know what the past of this is. But with that Ju-87 there, the dive bomber, I engaged in turn fighting. With this guy, I'm going to engage once again in boom and zooming. So, you guys know the recipe already. I'm going to zoom up behind him using stealth ammunition, so he doesn't know when I start shooting, so he's not going to try and dodge. Hit a couple hits, and his pilot's unconscious already. So, we have one last aircraft remaining, Swordfish. Now, this is a biplane bomber. We know it's a biplane bomber. We know for a fact that it's got a rear turret, and it's got one machine gun facing forward. So, really, there's no excuse if I get shot down by this. Remember, when you're facing biplane bombers, they're only going to have one turret. It's always going to face backwards and up. So it can shoot you if you're directly behind, and it can shoot you if you're off to the side, but it's not going to be able to shoot you if you dip below. So always dip below with biplane bombers. You can see I'm out of his bomb, his gunner sight now. Give him a nice strafe, and come around for another attack. You see, immediately I've switched how I'm playing this, and now I'm turn fighting with him. So that black smoke he's trailing there is telling me that I've either hit an oil tank or his engine. Judging by the sound of his engine, I think I've nailed it pretty hard. Should be going down. And he's playing this pretty well. You see how he's hugging the ground, so can't go under him to try and dodge his gunner. That's fine, just means I have to kill his gunner. So aim, and he's done. GG's, well played, what a match. Started poorly, but we finished strong. The Heinkel really made it easy for me on that one.